Hey guys, Casey here, and today I want to talk about Warframe for the Nintendo Switch. And this time it's going to be a little bit off the cuff. There's no script or anything. I just kind of want to give my general thoughts on Warframe for the Switch. So this is coming from someone that's played probably a little over 500 hours of Warframe on the PC since its launch. Essentially, I remember when it launched for PC. I remember actually counting down the days to it because it looked really interesting, and at the time I thought it was going to be the next like big multiplayer game, which it ultimately in the end I guess it sort of did. But anyway, so after sinking over 500 hours into it and actually really enjoying it, I kind of set it down and I kind of stopped playing it. About a year hiatus or so from it, and it came out on the Nintendo Switch. And when I saw it, I was kind of surprised because the game, while not exactly the most graphically impressive game I've ever seen, it definitely has a certain style to it, and there's a lot of special effects going on, and it just visually looks pretty appealing. While not realistic, it has a very cool and unique style to it. So I was kind of curious if the Nintendo Switch could pull off something like this. And for the most part, I think it does. The resolution definitely is hit. I don't know what the resolution is actually running at for the Nintendo Switch. I probably should have done a little bit of research on it before kind of speaking my mind, but it definitely is towards the lower end. So some of the textures kind of get muddy, but honestly, I have to say one of the biggest things I'm really surprised about is the amount of graphical options that they actually give you in the options menu for the Switch version. I've never seen anything like this for the Nintendo Switch. PS4 games and Xbox One games, they're starting to get some graphic options under the options menu, but I didn't think the Switch would. I thought we were a ways away from something like that still. No, sure enough. There's plenty of options here. Not the full suite like you would get on PC, but is still a surprising amount. Now, when I first started the game, I booted it up and I realized, oh crap, man, I'm gonna have to start all over again, and I'm gonna have to, there goes 500 hours down the drain. Essentially, I wish I could transfer those files over my account over to the Switch. After getting online and playing a little bit with my fresh new account on the Switch, I asked the community, and of course the community for Warframe has always been stellar. I don't know how it's never been polluted. I mean, you have your bad apples every once in a while, but for the most part, the community for Warframe has always been stellar. But anyway, so a couple guys, after me asking, like, hey, is there any way to transfer my files over? Sure enough, someone responded and said, yes, there is a way, but you might be too late. He said, go to the Warframe website and try to transfer. It's called account migration. You should see an option under there. So I did exactly that. I went over to the Warframe website, punched in my credentials, and sure enough, there it is. Unfortunately, if you're watching this video, the option's no longer there. They gave you until January 15th of 2019 to transfer your PC play, your account to the Switch. And what that essentially does is it just like copies your account to the Switch. So you for the most part, you would have everything that you did on PC. But like if it was, because the Switch version is a couple updates behind the PC version. So if you have something that's in an update for the PC that the Switch doesn't have, that's not going to transfer over. So those don't transfer over, and Platinum doesn't transfer over because, they gotta have that sweet money. But so other than that, in case you don't know, Platinum is the premium currency. But if you're watching this, I kind of assume that you know that. But yeah, so I got all of my stuff over, and then from there on out, it essentially acts as its own separate account. So if I were to unlock or get a new Warframe or a new weapon or something in the Switch version, it would not carry over to the PC version, and vice versa. So if you're thinking like, oh cool, I can play both and like work on the same account and get, progress on the same account, Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, but it's also kind of cool because I can use the Switch version now to kind of toy around with ideas and do things that I wouldn't want to do and jeopardize my PC version. So I can kind of play a little bit recklessly. And it's kind of neat because it's, it's kind of like starting fresh, but not really. But doing so, I'm Mastery rank 9. So when I transferred all my stuff over, I quickly realized that because Warframe on the Switch is so new, not many players have reached Mastery rank 9 or anywhere near me. So all the higher level planets and systems that would have missions and stuff for me, unfortunately there's not a whole lot of players unless there just happens to be another PC player that transferred their account or migrated their account over. So what that means is unless I want to play alone, right now for the time being I have to play on lower level missions and alerts and stuff like that. And it's kind of a little bit funny. I feel a little bit bad because I have maxed out equipment and I'm just going through just demolishing everyone in sight. And everyone that I'm with, they're your Excaliburs, your Mags, and your what's the Sparky Spark boy's name? I can't even remember. But yeah, so Volt, that's his name. But yeah, so I just feel like this tank, this massive beast just going through, and I'm just speed running through. I'm taking no damage because I have Iron Skin. I play as Rhino Prime as my main Warframe, and I'm just completely destroying everything. And I don't really have many other Warframes that are like low level. I think I have like one, and I think that's Vauban or Vauban or however you say his name, and I'm not even a really big fan of him. I think I have Hydroid too, but Hydroid, last time I played him, unless they changed something, he kind of sucked ass too. But so unless I want to be one of those two frames, everyone else that I have about 15 Warframes, 15 to 20 I'd have to count. So unless I want to play as one of the two Warframes that are low level, that I absolutely hate playing as, I'm stuck just being completely overpowered to everyone else or the majority of players in the game. So that is a little bit unfortunate. I kind of wish I would have thought that through prior to migrating my account, but I digress. So Warframe for the Switch is a lot of fun. I'm going to be bringing it with me. I'm going to be, when I'm on lunch break at work, I'm going to connect to my work's Wi-Fi, as good as it may or may not be, and, play on Warframe at work. It's going to be cool. It's going to be fun. And you can play it single player, so I don't think you have to be connected online. I haven't tested it yet. I'm not sure. If someone knows, leave a comment down below, but I don't think you have to be connected online. I think you can play the game single player offline. I'm not positive on that. No, maybe not, because there's a lot of alerts and stuff going on. The game's constantly being, connected to the internet and for various reasons. But all in all, Warframe is pretty freaking cool to be able to play on the Switch, and honestly, it kind of sparked a new interest in it for me. I kind of thought I was done playing Warframe, like I said, after 500 hours in the game. The game has changed so much from when I originally started playing it that it kind of, after taking some breaks away from it, I'd go back to the game and I'd be like, holy shit, I don't recognize anything. And eventually it started losing me because I just wasn't playing as much, and there's so many updates, and Digital Extremes is doing an amazing job keeping this game and community alive and thriving. But I fell off the wagon at some point. But now that it's on Switch, I actually have like a reignited desire to play it. It's really funny because, I'm sitting right beside my computer, but I'm playing the Switch version. Now, I do have to say the controls for the Switch version is a little bit weird. I feel like the sensitivity for the thumbsticks is just way too high. Even setting it on a lower setting, I still just feel like my gun is just flying around. As you can see in the footage, probably I'm just kind of like winging it around. I'm so used to playing with a mouse and keyboard that playing with a thumbstick or a controller is kind of strange, and I don't feel like it it's not that it doesn't work, it's just it feels off. It doesn't feel quite right, but maybe that's just something I have to get used to. I've only played the Switch version for a couple hours. Maybe eventually I'll get used to it, and then going back to the PC version, maybe it'll feel weird if I ever go back to the PC version. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Like I said, I just for one reason or another, I really enjoy playing games on the Switch. Don't ask me why. It just is. But so the controls are a little wonky. The special effects are actually surprisingly still intact. There's still a crap ton of particle effects in the game. To the game's detriment sometimes. I have noticed when I do like Rhino Stomp and there's all those particles that shoot up from the ground and all the enemies get launched up into the air and ragdoll and stuff. I do notice some frame drops, actually some significant frame drops. It'll actually like drop down to what I'm guessing 5 to 10 frames per second for like a second or two. And it's just like the game kind of just chugs and pauses for a second when you start getting a lot going on with a lot of special effects. But that's where the option menu comes back into play, and you can lower some of these settings to probably prevent that. I kind of want the game to look as good as possible, and I don't mind a hiccup here and there. Now, I haven't done any extreme like defense missions where there's literally hundreds of enemies on screen at one given time. I haven't tested that yet, but I would imagine when you start getting into like the higher and harder missions, it's probably going to start chugging, because the way the game excels in difficulties, they just start throwing a metric fuck ton of enemies at you, and it's really hard to I imagine it might be a little hard for the Switch to handle that, but I'd be curious to give that a try here in the near future. But all in all, coming from a veteran Warframe player for PC, the Switch version feels and plays surprisingly good. It is Warframe. I do recommend playing it with a controller, playing with the Joy-Cons. The short travel distance that the thumbsticks have on the Joy-Cons do not work well for Warframe, especially with the intense sensitivity. You're going to be flinging your camera all over the place and giving yourself some seasickness, or just motion sickness, I suppose. Why did I say seasickness? I don't know. It's late. It's like 2:30 in the morning. But anyways, I just wanted to give my 2 cents on the game. It's actually a lot of fun. It's free to play, so if you haven't gotten it yet, there's no reason not to get it. I strongly recommend it. And yeah, if you get it, or if let me know what you think. And if you already play it, let me know what you think of the game. And if you play it on PC and you play it on Switch, I would love to hear from you even more. I want your opinion on it too. What do you think? Maybe I'm just the odd man out here. Maybe the PC community secretly hates the Switch version. I don't know. But all in all, I think it's actually really cool. I enjoy the game a lot, and I see myself probably sinking quite a bit of time back into Warframe, which is something that I didn't think I would do again. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful in some way to someone. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to click that thumbs up button. If you haven't already, maybe consider subscribing, because I do stream and upload videos pretty darn frequently. So if you like what you saw here, there's plenty more to come in the very near future. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.